Yo, what is going on, guys? We're back today with another video, and man, we got HulkBuster in the beta. They actually sent out the 5-star, which is so perfect for me because I don't have HulkBuster at a 5 or 6-star level currently, so I'm so glad. I thought I was going to test out like a 4-star. So we're taking this guy all the way up to rank 5, level 65, and they actually didn't send out an awakening gem, and you can't get one in the store, but luckily I had a generic, so pop that into him, take him all the way up to signature level 200, and man, he is looking good. His abilities are looking really nice. So we're gonna go take a quick read over his abilities. I'm gonna explain kind of how the new ones work, and in conjunction to how you want to be playing him. And then I got some pretty sweet gameplay for you guys. So we're gonna go jump to that now that he's all maxed out. Gonna pop this generic in him, and then feed him some 6 stones. So yeah, let's go check out his abilities now. Alright guys, so we're back. Now let's talk about HulkBuster's brand new abilities. So starting with his signature ability, 100% chance to activate self-repair lasting for 12 seconds, recovering almost 15,000 health. This buff is lost if HulkBuster is stunned. So this happens when you are knocked below 15% health. It can only be activated once per fight, but it can be activated every fight, which is sick, man. That is such a solid regen. It'll easily take you up past 50%. And then so Giant Buster. So this is the form when you're on attack, and Iron Wall is the form you're in when your HulkBuster's like on defense, when you're fighting against a HulkBuster. So when you're on attack, you also gain a really big attack increase while this self-repair is active and lasts for 12 seconds. So you just get a big attack increase during this time. And then so when you're fighting against HulkBuster, the potency of the regen will be increased by 45%. So it's going to be almost like a full heal when you're fighting against him. That's going to be pretty crazy. So while fighting as an attacker, enter Giant Buster mode, and so up to 600 attack rating based on how large the opponent is. So the larger the opponent you're fighting, the more attack you can get. Okay, you know, it's a cool passive ability. And then 688 attack rating per each shock effect on the opponent. Now this right here is nuts. I totally glanced over that the first time I read his abilities and was playing him, and I was like, wait, why is my attack so big right now after I used an L3? And it's because I had a bunch of shocks on the opponent. It really ramps your attack up, so using these shocks is very key. And then while fighting as defender, you enter the Iron Wall mode, enhancing HulkBuster's defensive abilities. So at the start of the fight, and every 15 seconds, gain an indefinite armor up, granting 370 armor rating, max stacks in Giant Buster, which is on attack, 2, max stacks on defense, 4. So when brought below 15%, gain an indefinite armor up, granting 370 armor rating. If an Iron Wall, gain a second armor up buff. So fighting non-cosmic champions. So when you're fighting cosmic champions, you won't get any of these effects, but when you're not fighting them, you gain some energy resistance per armor up. You get a little bit of a critical damage rating. Incoming bleed and poison debuffs suffer minus 25% potency. You know, the first time I read that, I was like, suicides. But currently, I don't think it's working at all with suicides. It says incoming bleed and poison debuffs. The way I read that, incoming is like future ones that you get. So for example, when you start the fight, you have the bleed and poison on you, but you also start the fight with 1 armor up. So the initial bleed and poison from suicides, the way I'm reading this, should be reduced by 25%, but right now I don't think it is. But when you gain the second armor up, I don't think it's going to reduce any of the current debuffs you have on you by another 25%, because it says incoming, so maybe only new ones will get the reduced potency. But that's kind of the way I read it. So hopefully it does function with suicides, at least just cutting off the bleed and poison damage by 25%. That'd be nice. You know, willpower could heal you up some more. And so the enemy attacks suffer minus 20% offensive ability accuracy, and enemy attacks suffer minus 137 critical damage rating. And when you get struck by a critical hit, like if you just slip up, the opponent hits you, a 60% chance to consume 1 armor buff to inflict a shock debuff, dealing 1500 direct energy damage over 10 seconds. And then heavy attacks, 100% chance to inflict a shock debuff, dealing 1300 direct energy damage over 10 seconds. So these heavy attacks, man, can really stack up those shocks easily, and HulkBuster just has one of those quick uppercut heavies, so you can spam them in the corner and stack up quite a few of these shock debuffs. And there's a way to play HulkBuster where you can kind of chain these after your special too, which you'll see in some gameplay. It's pretty crazy. And so this one's a big one here, the special attacks. 100% chance to inflict an armor break debuff, removing 1 armor up buff, and reducing armor rating by 3150 for 20 seconds. First of all, 20 seconds is a very long time. And second of all, 3,150 armor reduction is huge, man. Medusa's armor shatter reduces it by 2,500. So this is like way more than that. Another, what, 650 than Medusa's. So this is a really, really strong armor break. And when you use special attacks, 100% chance to gain an unblockable buff lasting 1 second. So that just helps getting the special attacks off. There's kind of a way to use this unblockable to make your specials get an additional effect. So with the special 100% chance to stun if the opponent's block is broken by the attack. So if you use the unblockable to break through their block, all of HulkBuster's armor up buffs are consumed to add 1.25 second duration to the stun debuff for each armor up consumed this way. So you can use this to basically stun the opponent to get off some heavy attacks to apply more shocks, but it does eat up your armors. The special 2, if the opponent's block is broken by this attack, the same thing. If you break their block with the unblockable, all beam attacks have a 100% chance to inflict power burn, draining 1 bar of power per hit and inflicting direct damage proportional to the power drained. And there's at least, I think it's just 3, but there's at least 3 beam attacks. So you can completely drain an opponent that has 3 bars of power, which I'm going to show you guys. It's sick, but remember, you have to break their block in order to do this. If you just 5-hit combo, weave to the special 2, you're not going to get the power drain effects. You have to break their block with the unblockable to do it. It's kind of a riskier play, but it's rewarding. And then the regular effect that you don't have to break their block for is 100% chance to power lock, severing the target's flow of power for 3 seconds. And while they're power locked, if you chain this with the block breaking, you drain all their power, they're power locked, and you can just spam heavies in this phase, get off a bunch of shocks. It's crazy. And then the special 3, so this attack drains 50% of the opponent's current power, inflicts up to 3 shock debuffs, each having an 80% chance to activate, dealing 1,350 energy damage over 20 seconds. But it's nice, these are 20-second long shocks, so you're going to get more attack rating for each of those that apply. And the unblockable buff trigger during this attack gains 4.5 second duration. So you're unblockable for a longer period after you use the special 3 to get in some really big damage, kind of like how Thing is after his special 3. So these new abilities are sick, man. And as far as the synergies go, there's not too many crazy synergies. One with Yellow Jacket here to consume some armor ups to get some Furies, which is okay. This one here gets some more armor rating. This one with Hulk is actually really cool though. Immunity to Nullify, Fate Seal, and Stagger. That's pretty sick for Hulk Classic. And that reminds me of the Symbiote Supreme in 6.1. This could make Hulk viable for that. This one with Mr. Fantastic, each shock debuff reduces the opponent's offensive ability actually during special attacks by 15%. Could maybe be a use somewhere there. And then some critical rating, and then some health with some of Thanos' army, and with some other Iron Man. So yeah, nothing too crazy on the synergies, but the base abilities are really dope. So let's get into some gameplay. Alright guys, so we're back and time to test out the damage. You know, we gotta go ahead and fight the test dummy for this game, Winter Soldier. So I wanted to see in the least amount of hits we could get Winter Soldier down with the new and improved HulkBuster here. So to start things off, you know, I'm gonna get in a couple hits. I'm gonna try to weave in some heavy attacks after I parry to go ahead and get off these shock debuffs, because they're just gonna increase our attack even more. And as you can see, our base attack damage is already doing pretty good, even without the armor break. We're hitting for decent numbers. Right there, we break his block, apply the stun, we get a Fury buff from the Yellow Jacket synergy. And with that armor break, dude, you can see our attack is nice. It is really nice. That armor break is so potent. And you can pretty much have that armor break up for the entire fight. The duration on it is so good. So I'm gonna go for heavy, get a shock, and then right here you see we break his block, and boom, his power is drained, he's power locked, and we're able to get off a couple of heavy attacks while he's power locked, so they give him no power, and then we're able to throw about 3 more against the wall. So we have 5 shock debuffs up right now, so that's just more attack. We've got the armor break up, gonna apply the L2. You see right there we don't block break him, so he doesn't get power drained. But we do still apply the power lock, so he is not getting power from the special at least, which is nice. But yeah, you can just see his attack, man. It is nice. It is really nice. I'm really enjoying this new HulkBuster. He has a very unique play style. It's a little risky. But again, one thing to keep in mind is that this is just the beta, so anything here is subject to change. But if HulkBuster comes to the game like this, it's looking pretty good. It is looking pretty good. Right there, we just hit a 26k heavy, just weave in the L1 because it's unblockable, and boom, he's dead. Super nice fight there, very clean. 65 hits to take down Winter Soldier. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. So next matchup here I have for you guys is in Act 6, and we're going to be taking on a Havoc because, you know, Havoc's super annoying. I want to have someone who can power drain him or have a consistent armor up buff. HulkBuster's got both of those things. The power drain's a little inconsistent, and I don't know why, but when I recorded this fight, it kind of froze for a second here. Just give it a second, a little bit laggy, but that's why they call me Lagacy. Fight should be good from here on out. So yeah, right here, I don't go for the block break on the special 2. It's kind of hard to get off in some circumstances, but with those armor up buffs, I know that we're good with HulkBuster. I'll never have to worry. And you can see if I didn't have those armor ups, my health would be shredded. Actually, oh, I remember now why I didn't go for the block break. You actually don't want to block break Havoc, because if you do that, you consume your armor up buffs, and if you don't have those, you're gonna die really quick. Well, you might not die, but you're gonna lose a lot of health, then you're gonna have to trigger your regen, and you're gonna have to get back up slowly. So you can see, even without having to block break Havoc, we still took him down extremely well. 39 hits. It's pretty nice. Absolutely destroyed that Havoc. But again, you don't want to block break him. You don't want to lose your armor ups. It can be very sketchy if that happens. Now, one more fight I wanted to show you guys was versus a Hyperion, just to show how strong that power drain really is on that special 2, because it is one of the best power drains in the game for sure. It's up there, but it's just kind of sketchy because you have to break their block with the first hit of the special 2. But it's risky, but it's worth it, you know, for the potency of the power drain, or power burn, I guess. It's definitely worth it. So I'm just gonna try to push up Hyperion's power a little bit, while also building up to my special 2. And then to really show you guys, so this node is destructive feedback, so I kind of got to be careful while he has that little shield up. He's not going to take damage while it's up. It kind of gets stored. So right here, I push him all the way to a special 3, go for a 5 combo in his block, and then throw the special 2, and boom, he has no power. Right here, able to weave in a couple of heavy attacks, boom, build up those shocks. I throw the L1 here, gave him a little bit too much power, and the power drain also was a factor there. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and draw my L2 here. The destructive feedback node is active right now, so he's the damage is being stored, but I'm sure it's enough to kill him. I just kind of back off here, and boom, yeah, 57k. He drops like a fly. That power drain is just so strong, and kind of how you see what I did there is I just kind of started hitting into his block, did a full 5 combo hit into his block, and then finish with the special. And because it's unblockable, it's totally safe to do, and it's kind of another easy way to weave it in there. Pretty reliable, I found, and just so useful. It just completely drains the power. 3 bars is gone, and then they're power locked, and then you can just start heavying. So it's pretty nuts, man. I'm a big fan of HulkBuster, and I got a really sick idea for some more gameplay. So be on the lookout for some more sick HulkBuster gameplay. Let's drop a like if you enjoyed the buff. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe if you'd like to see more HulkBuster gameplay. And you hit the little bell for notifications if you want to know when the next one goes live. I'm telling you, it's going to be some sick gameplay. It's going to be cool. So you don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.